Alrighty, well, hey everyone, welcome back. So today was an interesting day. Bitcoin had a huge dip today. PPI data came out. I think that was the reason why we dipped so hard. And then we also had Bassent had some comments about not buying Bitcoin on the U.S. Treasury part of it. So double punch to Bitcoin's gut there, and we fell quite hard. Good news was Terawulf, obviously, it came up with a nice deal from, oh gosh, what was the company name? I'm drawing a blank on the company really quick here. It was with Fluidstack, which is backed by Google there. That pumped Terawulf stock up 50 plus percent, almost 60%. That helped out some of the miners that are into HPCI as well. Those guys did actually pretty good today. All things considering, Bitcoin was down. So we got that to talk about. We have obviously also talk about the latest short data that we have on the miners. And then we also have a latest ASIC miner from Block. They call it Proton, something like that. Which is kind of actually fascinating that the way that they developed it and designed it. We'll talk about that as well. So we'll get through all that stuff here. We have some good news stories on Bitcoin as well, some adoption stories, and that's it. And then we'll get into Q&A, okay? So as always, you guys know the drill here, not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research, full disclosure below that. And I got to update this as well. I did go shopping today. I did some selling and shopping actually today. So I need to add to my stocks and ETFs, I need to add Cypher to that because I did buy more Cypher today. We'll talk about that in a second here. But full disclosure below that, as always, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously here. And let's get into what's going on here with Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin reached a new all-time high on today, basically. We reached 124,533. And then we also went down quite a bit here. We were down today a lot. We were down 4% today. We went down basically at the close, $4,975 on the downside. A lot of people got liquidated. A lot of longs got liquidated at that point. The low was 117,208. Good news is, though, the CME futures gap got filled completely here. So that is good news there. We don't have to worry about that, and we might be able to go forward from here as well. So that's at least good in that regard. But Bitcoin, yeah, it didn't do good today. And that was mainly because of the PPI data, and we can probably talk about that here really quick as well right now. Where do I have that? Right here. So the producer price index jumped 0.9% in July compared with the Dow Jones estimate of 0.2 gain. It was the biggest monthly increase since June of 2022. So that wasn't good, right? We saw the actual markets were down, and then they kind of shook it off a little bit, which is kind of a good sign there. Excluding food and energy prices, the core PPI rose 0.09% against the forecast of 0.3%. Excluding food, energy, trade services, the index was up 0.6%, the biggest gain since March 2022. Following the release, markets implied odds of September cuts decreased, but only significantly, according to the CME Group's FedWatch tool. So they're still pricing in rate cuts happening in September. It did decrease a little bit, but that's a good sign there. So it looks like we might still get the rate cuts here happening in September, so which is good. Bassent also had a comment there. Let me see, I have that one also while we're talking about it here, I think. Where's Bassent? No, that's not it. There it is. I probably should have put that on first here. Bassent on Fox News said that the U.S. government is not going to be buying Bitcoin for the Treasury. And then he kind of walked it back a little bit here with a post later on today. Bitcoin that has been finally forfeited to the federal government will be the foundation of the strategic Bitcoin reserve that President Trump established in his March executive order. In addition, Treasury is committed to exploring budget-neutral pathways to acquire more Bitcoin to expand the reserve and to execute on President's promises to make the United States a Bitcoin superpower of the world. So we kind of walked back those comments, right? After a while there. This was at 2:46 p.m. His comments to Fox News were earlier on, and that kind of contributed also to people freaking out. It's like, oh, the U.S. government's not going to be putting Bitcoin on the Treasury. He walked that back. So he must have misspoke at that point, right? He was probably thinking of not buying it in, what do they call it? In neutral ways, right? Budget neutral pathways. So he's maybe talking about them not buying it in other than that, but he just basically misspoke. So we have those things covered for Bitcoin. That's what kind of happened there. The Ethereum was down also quite a bit here today as well. You can see Ethereum was down 4.23% also. So that one was down. Markets were down. Dow Jones was down. The NASDAQ was down. S&P was actually up today, 0.03%. Russell 2000 was down 1.29%. And the miners, overall, it was mixed day, but some were down in red a little bit, but the other miners that are in HPCI did very well actually. With Bitcoin being down 4%, this is actually a pretty good sign there as well. But the big news, obviously, Wolf being up 59%. That is an awesome candle there. So congrats to the Wolf team there on getting a deal with, oh gosh, what was that company's name? Fluidstack. So that's awesome. We'll talk about that here in a second. That kind of pumped the other guys here. Bitfarms was flat on the day at 0%. BitDeer was down just a little bit, 1.43%. Kang was down 1.43%. Cypher was up nicely, 8.57%. So like I said, I did rebalance my portfolio a little bit. I sold 1,000 shares of Cleanspark, 500 shares of IREN as well. I was up tremendously on those two. So I took some profits and moved it over into Cypher there. By selling those two, I was able to buy about 3,500 shares of Cypher. And I also finished out the rest of the cash that I had and bought 600 more shares of Bitfarms. So that's kind of what I did there today. And that's mainly because of the Wolf story there. I didn't have any exposure to Cypher, so I'm like, I want to get some exposure to Cypher in case they do get a deal. Mainly because of the management there. Tyler Page, the CEO, seemed pretty confident that they're going to be getting a deal here in the next, I would say, quarter or two. So I wanted to be on that boat in case it starts to rocket. So we got that. So I'm a little bit more diversified in these guys here. I still have a strong belief in Cleanspark doing much better here going forward as well, along with IREN still doing really, really well like it did today. So I'm still really happy with the positions that I have here and just looking forward to the next 5 months or so. Cleanspark was down just a little bit, 0.2%. At one point, it was down like a 3-4% down. So that actually, a lot of these guys bounced back up throughout the day, which was nice. CORZ was down a little bit more, 0.11% here. Hive was up 0.9%. Hut 8 was up 6.44%. That one's doing really good here as well. IREN was up 7.61%. That one did great. Mara was down just a little bit, 0.69. Riot was up 5.69% as well. So you saw all these guys with HPCI potential doing really well for the most part. BitDeer's got HPCI potential, so I was a little surprised by that one not going up. But it is what it is, right? Bitfarms, same thing. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Once I saw Bitcoin falling down, I'm like, oh man, the miner's going to be down 8-10% on the day. And then we got the news from Wolf. Wolf lifted up all these guys here, and a lot of these guys are getting repriced right now because of that potential. So we'll see how they do going forward here. MicroStrategy, on the other hand, was down 4.35%. That one is now down below the 100 SMA. So we'll see how that one holds up there. I think if Bitcoin starts going back up, it will rebound as well. Galaxy was up 1.29. What else do we have here? MetaPlanet was down another 8.86%. Semler was down 1.24%. The treasury companies are not doing that great. We got Phoenix here, was up 8.75%. Not sure what happened there. Small miners were down except for DigiPower. Was up 8% here. Everybody else was down. And the miner ETFs did actually really good today as well. BitQ was up 1.73%. That one's kind of holding the 50 SMA. BKCH was up 4.29%. DAP was up 2.84%. Same thing, kind of holding that 50 SMA. Kind of interesting there to see that. WGMI was up 5.76%. So that was with the big help from Terawulf. That brought up all these guys here. The Ethereum holding companies here didn't do. It was mixed. BitDigital was up a little bit, 0.63%. BTCS was up 3.3%. BMNR was down 1.91%. Game was down 4.1%. SBET was down just a little bit, 0.13%. And Bitcoin dominance here went down a little bit more to 59.47 as it is right now. So there's the markets overall of what happened here. But it could have been a lot worse if it wasn't for Wolf. Wolf saved the day today for all these guys here. All right. After hours trading here, what do we got going on in these guys here? BitDeer is down just a little bit, 0.58%. Bitfarms is down 0.79%. Kango is flat. Cypher is up a little bit, 0.56%. Cleanspark is up a little bit as well, 0.4%. CORZ is down another 1.41%. Hive is up 1.78%. Hut 8 is up just a little bit, 0.29%. IREN is up 0.73%. Mara is up a little bit, 0.32%. Riot right now is down 1.22%. And Terawulf is up another 3.33%. They're at $9 right now. So If any of you guys were in that one still, congrats there. That you got definitely rewarded today. And then we'll have to wait and see what happens going forward with them. So there's that. Bitcoin here right now on the return side of things is only up 2.16%. Yesterday we were at 6%, so we definitely came down quite a bit on it. But August is not over yet. I think we're still going to climb back up, surpass the previous all-time high even at this point. Miner ETFs, they sold out a bunch today. 292 million outflows. We'll see what BlackRock comes in, but I'm guessing there's going to be some outflows from that one as well. We talked about the PPI inflation already. We talked about Bassent as well. This one's kind of interesting here as well. Elon Musk SpaceX now holds 1 billion in Bitcoin. So that's awesome to see that they're still holding there. Maybe they're stacking a little bit more here. Maybe not. But it's awesome to see that they're doing it. And this is one company that I would love to be an investor in, SpaceX. Oh my gosh. This thing could be, like $100 trillion company at one point. If they can ever get to space and explore meteorites and mine the meteorites, meteors, right? All that stuff, all the rocks that are out there. If they mine that, if they get to Mars as well, Moon, oh my gosh. The potential for the revenue there is outstanding. Yeah, that's one I'd love to get into, but I don't have that kind of money. All right, so there's that news. Next here, Jack, with his company Block, I think it's still called Block, right? They announced today the new proto miner, which is kind of a very interesting miner here. We're going to talk about that one really quick as well. It's kind of modular in its design, which is really, really good, actually. And I love the ideas here that they have incorporated into this design based on the customer feedback and everything else. So if we go to the proto site, their proto site, they're calling it the Proto Rig, and they also have the Proto Fleet, which is their software based on, runs on top of these rigs, but it's also available for other machines as well. That is actually free. You can request a beta on that. That's going to be coming out, and this looks really promising there for mining fleets and everything else. It's open source as well, which is freaking awesome. I love open source software because you can see what the heck's going on in it, and you can tweak it. You can do whatever you want with it. That's awesome. But let's talk about the rig here. The rig is really, really interesting. It's definitely an interesting design, but you can upgrade, repair, and replace rig's core components on the rack. Meaning you can take out the boards, you can take out the fans, swap those in and out, change out the power supplies, you can change out the motherboard control boards as well. This is tool-free on-rack upgrades and repairs in under 90 seconds. They showed a demo of it where he just took out the fans here and was able to get to the boards behind it. They also mentioned that the boards, you can swap out for newer boards with more hash on them without having to replace the whole system there. So it should have about 20% cost savings overall on it. You can pull and replace fan modules. What else can you do? Replace hash boards for flexible deployment and upgrades. You could run, older hash boards and then replace one of them with a newer one if you wanted to. There's just so many ways you can work with this thing. It's very, very well designed. It's fanless PSU and 3-phase power balancing for efficiency and for structure. Right, you can take those things down, plug them back in. Easy access control board for quick swaps as well. That's great. Right, talk about modular design here. What else do we have here? The most interesting part for me was the blades here. You can remove those blades, which have all the ASIC chips on them, and replace them as you want. So if a newer board comes out, let's say this current miner is at 250 terahash per second, you can then replace newer boards that are going to make that whole system there possibly like 400 terahash per second. Based on the newer chip design, things like that, you can just swap them out. It's awesome, awesome design. And that way you're still using the same power supply unit to it. You're still using the same fans. You don't have to replace the fans, right? I mean, that's a lot of cost there to replace all that stuff. Also with the packaging that you get when you have to replace these old AC miners, you got to deal with that. So this is definitely a step forward as well. They also showed it that it can be immersed in immersion cooling, basically. But yeah, this is really, really interesting here. And they did this at CORZ Scientific's facility, which was really interesting because CORZ Scientific was supposed to get about 15 exahash of these, but I didn't hear anything about that. I don't know if CORZ is still going to be getting it since they're being bought out by CoreWeave. We shall have to wait and see on that regard. I also saw that Matt Schultz from Cleanspark was there, the new CEO. He also posted some things on it as well, so they're checking it out. I also, Taylor Monick was there from Cleanspark. I don't know who else was there. I didn't see anybody else posting. They might have, but I haven't seen it. So it's pretty interesting that they are, checking this thing out. My big thing is what's the actual cost initially for that thing, and then what's the cost on the boards when you have to change them out, all that stuff later on, and what are their plans for the future, right? They did say that the current unit is at 14.7 joules per terahash. So I'd like to know what is that going to be in the future. Are they going to get that down to 10 and below 5 joules per terahash, like Bitdeer's planning on getting in maybe next year, the year following. Yeah, but other than that, really cool. This got me excited a little bit on that one. But I'm a nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff here. All right, so there's that one. The big story that we have today is obviously Terawulf. Terawulf secures a couple of things here. So they announced two things. Terawulf secures long-term ground lease at Cayuga, I think that's how you pronounce it, site to expand high-performance computing infrastructure. The Cayuga ground lease executed with Cayuga Operating Company, LLC, has a term of 80 years and includes a reciprocal purchase and sale option exercisable for $100 beginning in year 50. The lease provides Terawulf with exclusive rights to develop up to 400 megawatts of digital infrastructure capacity with 138 megawatts of low-cost, predominantly zero-carbon power expected to be ready for service in 2026. Located on the site of former coal-fired power plant, the Cayuga property features robust existing electrical infrastructure and industrial-scale water intake system and redundant fiber connectivity, critical components for supporting enterprise-scale computing workloads. So they are expanding there. Let's see. This transaction was negotiated and approved by a special committee of the company's board of directors, composed entirely of independent directors. As Cayuga is owned by Terawulf's chief executive officer, Paul Prager there, I'm guessing. So obviously conflict of interest. They used an independent committee there. Was advised by independent legal counsel Reed Smith LLP and received a fairness opinion from CBRE Capital Advisors. In connection with the transaction, Cayuga's parent company, Riesling Power, will receive consideration comprised of $95 million in the form of Terawulf common stock, determined on the basis of a 15-day trailing VWAP, and $3 million in cash, reinforcing long-term alignment between management and shareholders. Okay, so that's kind of how they're going to be paying it there on that one. So Paul Prager is making a little bit more money there, I guess, based on this. And but this is good. This gives him more optionality going forward as well. So that's great. But the big story here today is obviously Terawulf signs 200 megawatt plus 10-year AI hosting agreement with Fluidstack. Transaction anchors $3.7 billion in contracted revenues with potential to reach $8.7 billion through lease extension. They have the same kind of deal with Core 42 as well. That could also be increased for them going forward. Google backstops the $1.8 billion of Fluidstack's obligations in support of project debt and receives 8% equity stake in Terawulf. So they're going to get some Terawulf stock there. Fluidstack granted 30-day exclusivity for CB5, adding potential 160 megawatts of critical IT load there. Okay. Going down here, rapid deployment schedule. Phase 1 is approximately going to be 40 megawatts of critical IT load. Is expected online in the first half of 2026, with the full 200 plus megawatt deployed by year end of 2026, delivering substantial near-term capacity to Fluidstack. So that's pretty quick, actually. If they can get that done in about a year and a half, that's going to be really good. Transaction highlights here. So contract value, $3.7 billion across the initial 10-year terms. Lease extension to 5-year options could increase total revenue to $8.7 billion. Expected site to net operating income margins 85%, implies $350 million annually. Total project cost $8 to $10 million per megawatt of critical IT load. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking at 200 megawatts, what is that going to be? $2 billion? Am I doing my math right there? At $10, $2 billion. Google participation at $1.8 billion backstop of Fluidstack lease obligations in support of project-related debt, and then 8% equity stake via 41 million warrants there. Growth potential, 30-day exclusivity for CB5 at Lake Mariner, and that's all great. So again, great job. But this also means that, well, so far we've seen Terawulf get Core 42 deal. Now they got this deal. We've seen Other miners also get deals with CORZ Scientific. We've seen it with CoreWeave. CoreWeave gave deals to CORZ Scientific, Galaxy, along with Applied Digital. And other than that, we haven't really seen anybody else getting any kind of deals here. So, you're getting a smaller pool of available megawatts. Eventually, I think some of these guys like Cypher, IREN, even Riot, but potentially Bitfarms as well, will get some kind of deals going forward. Hut 8, Hive, I don't know. Hive doesn't have really anything in the United States for that. So maybe in Canada, they might get some deals from the Canadian government or some other Canadian entities there. So, yeah, this was good. Definitely helped out tremendously today. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Let's take a look at Fluidstack here really quick. Fluidstack does have some information on their website here. The part that I liked was the pricing side of things here. You can do reserved clusters on demand, private cloud as well. CPU count from 256 to 10,000 plus. GPU count from 8 to 4,000 there. And then you can obviously do a custom thing. But here's the pricing: NVIDIA GB200s on request, NVIDIA B200 SXM on request, NVIDIA H200 SXM $2.30 per GPU per hour. H100 SXM is $2.10 per GPU per hour, and the A100 is $1.30 per GPU per hour at that point. So you at least get some pricing on these guys to see where things are stacking up right now. What else do we have here? That is it. I mean, you guys can take a look more into Fluidstack. Fluidstack has a platform for Atlas OS, spin-up clusters, state control, raw power, ready GPU clusters, solutions, research labs, enterprise AI teams, sovereign AI initiatives, financial services, pricing, resources, right? You can learn all about them. I wonder if they have anything about their locations or not. Probably not. I haven't really looked into it here. Yeah, just some, yep. Okay, so that's Fluidstack more or less. You guys can take a look at it as you wish. Next here, we're going to take a quick look at the miners here. Shares shorted. I updated this today, so this should have been updated 8/13. Forgot to update this 08/13, right? No, 14. Today's 14th. Wow, time is really flying. All right, so here's what we got. There's been some changes in the number of shares shorted here. So Marathon had a sizable increase in the amount of shares shorted there with them. They're at 106 million shares shorted now. As it is, Riot 74 million, Cleanspark's down to 60 million, CORZ at 57 million, Cypher 54, IREN 26, BitTF 20%, Hive 20.9 million shares, sorry, not percent. Hive 11 million shares, Kango only 1.2 million shares. Percent of average floatage shorted here. Marathon is shorted the most, almost 30% there, 29%, and that's seen a sizable increase there. BitTF 24%, followed by Cleanspark 22 roughly. Riot also around 22, Core at 20. Cypher 20, IREN at almost 12 there, Hive at 15% of shares float there. You can see here, share shorted value versus market cap. Marathon's got a 5.8 billion market cap, 1.7 billion is shorted basically. You can see the rest of those, how those stack up right there. Number of shares shorted changed from last time. Marathon, 21, almost 22 million shares shorted increase just from 2 weeks ago from when we did this last probably. Core 5.3 million increase, Hive 0.93 million, Kango's down 0.16 million, BitTF's down 1.86 million, Cypher down 2 million, IREN down 4 million, Cleanspark down almost 4.6 million, and Riot is down actually 8.3 million shares. So we are seeing the shorts start to cover on some of these guys here. We're seeing that more and more here actually. Percent change from last time. So Marathon had an increase of 26%, Core 10%, Hive 9%. Cypher's down 3%, Cleanspark's down 7%, BitTF's down 8%, Riot down 10%, IREN's down 13%. So those are looking good there. Price for the miners here 12 weeks ago, from 12 weeks ago, what are we seeing now? IREN is killing it, right? Outperforming here, 119% up. Core up 33%, Cypher up 23%, Riot up 21%, Kango up 20%, Cleanspark's up only 3%, Hive is flat, Marathon's down 5%, BitTF's down 17%. And then the percentage change from 12 weeks, short change. This is what we saw. This is the difference from 12 weeks ago, right? Cleanspark's down 31% in the number of shares being shorted there. BitTF's down 12%, Riot down 10%, Kango down 7%, Hive down 2%, IREN down up 6%, Marathon up 16%, Core up 21%, and Cypher's up 38%. So Cypher's definitely getting shorted here quite a bit over the last 12 weeks, whereas Cleanspark's coming down on it. And then here's how the miners stack up on all of this. probably put that too close down to it. Let me see. There we go. So what do we got here? We got BitDeer, right? Up and down. It's been coming down here for them. Kango has been pretty low all the time here that we started tracking them. Cypher has been going up and down a little bit. Cleanspark peaked at 90.7 million shares shorted there. This was on April 14th, and it has been coming down. So we saw a 30 million change decrease. So that's good. But yet the stock is not performing that well. So there's probably some other dynamics there. Core has been going up here recently. Its Hive has also been coming down here a little bit. Not much, but it's been coming down. IREN has definitely been coming down from the 32 million that was shorted here at end of June. And then Marathon was at 96 million prior as its highest number of shares shorted. This was back in the middle of June, and this has definitely increased a lot here. Not sure, this was even before they reported their quarterly results, which surprises me that, well, maybe they were thinking that the quarterly results were going to be bad. So that's maybe why we saw an increase in shares shorted there. We'll see in the next 2 weeks when we get an update on it to see if that's come down or if that's actually gone up more. See what their thought process is there. And then Riot, we've seen that actually come down here a little bit as well. So that's the share shorted right now on all these guys here. Yeah, I don't have anything else for you guys. We'll see where Bitcoin goes tomorrow. We'll see where the miners go tomorrow as well. We'll see where the markets go. Long term, we're going up, right? But it's going to be an easy ride. It's going to be a bouncy ride. Other than that, spreadsheets. I didn't get the spreadsheets out to the Patreon members today. I was just too busy with everything going on at work and everything else. So I'll get this out to you guys depending what time we finish up the live stream. Maybe I'll do that tonight, which will be an update with the short change or the shorts on the spreadsheet along with, what was the other one? BitDeer production update. So that'll be coming out to you guys either tonight or tomorrow sometime morning. If you want to become a member and help support what I do and get access to all these data, link for that is down in the description as always. All right, let's get into Q&A. And with Q&A, if you guys would also preface the questions with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it. And also if you could be kind to each other. Yesterday, you guys were getting a little heated there. I don't want to put anybody in timeout, so be nice, be kind, right? Everybody has their own opinions and their own views. And I'll leave it at that. Okay, so give me some time here. I'm going to scroll up on all the comments that I have here, questions, if any, and I'm going to work my way down as always, and just be patient. I will get through all of these comments as always. I do. It might take me a while, so I might be behind the comments for quite a while here. All right, let's see here. John says, Seb, I did buy more Cypher and Riot yesterday. Very nice. Let's see. We also have a poll running here right now. Whether Bitcoin rips or dips. It looks like 80% of you guys think that Bitcoin's going to rip here going forward. So that's kind of good there. What else do we have here? Let's see here. Sour says, my miners were up 7% today while BTC was down 4%. Everyone calm down now. Today, geez, we're rolling. Yeah, look, patience. All right. What else do we have here? Kaz says, I miss Chris. Chris might, well, he might be in. I don't know if he's in back or not. Diamond says, Cleanspark will get a deal next. Oh, wait. It's going to be a while for them to get HPCI. They're not even talking about HPCI yet. We'll see if they start talking about it. All right. When Riot will expect to get contract of HPCI, that's anybody's guess right now. You got Riot waiting on one. You got Cypher waiting on one. You got IREN waiting on one. Who else is probably waiting on one? BitDeer is in advanced talks with somebody there. We'll see if they can work something out. So, yeah, it's anybody's guess. Roger says, IREN is a beast, that's for sure. The only miner that's kicking butt right now. Yeah. All right. No name channel. Please explain what's going on like I'm an XRP maxi. I'm not. Geez, I don't own any XRP, so I wouldn't know, unfortunately. But today it was just a wild day with Bitcoin and the PPI data and Bassent comments. Things got a little bit, I think, people got a little too crazy on that. But, you know, we should bounce from here. Can someone do a welfare check on Rex Finance? No video for a week. Did Cleanspark check paid to him not went through? I don't think he gets any checks from Cleanspark. Let's see here. But Rex should be fine. Let's see. Because Cleanspark is still a pure play at the moment, yes, right? we'll see what Matt does with the company going forward here. All right, Kenny, question, what was your idea behind your new purchase in Cypher? What are your price targets? Okay, the idea behind Cypher was, one, we've obviously heard Tyler Page, the CEO there, talk about on the conference call and also on Spaces and other places that they are, it seemed like they're pretty confident they're going to get a deal here, whether it's going to be this quarter or next quarter. It looks like they're working on something there. So that was the backdrop behind the thing of getting Cypher. The catalyst for that today was Terawulf, right? Terawulf getting the deal with, gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the name again. What the heck was the company name? What was it? Signed a deal, Fluidstack. So they got a deal with them. So I'm like, okay, if Terawulf can get a deal with Fluidstack, Cypher, IREN, for sure can get a deal with somebody, right? It's going to happen eventually. So I'm like, okay, I don't have any exposure to Cypher. I was thinking about buying actually Cleanspark yesterday, as you guys know, but then I saw what was happening with Terawulf stock. I'm like, let me get a little bit more exposure into another AI HPC play. So I'm like, okay, who's probably the next best one? Cypher. So that's why I kind of got into Cypher. Sold a little bit of Cleanspark. Still hold a large position in them. Sold a little bit of IREN as well. I was up on both those guys nicely. So I did the same thing, if you guys recall, last year, where I sold a little bit of Cleanspark and got in on IREN, right? So at times I will rejig a little on things, and hopefully that works out. Okay, Nick Lee says, added more Cleanspark today, looking good so far. Good. DFly. So Seb, how you go from saying buying Cleanspark last night to selling for Cypher because AI deal, you think Cypher will get a deal? Yeah, I just kind of explained it, right? So that was kind of the thought process. If it wasn't for Terawulf running like crazy with the HPC idea, I'm like, then I probably would have just bought more Cleanspark, I think. But with what I saw there, I'm like, the hype is around HPC AI. I'm willing to give Cleanspark a little bit more time, right? And if it goes down even more, I'll probably buy some more. I'll use my regular cash to buy that. But that's kind of the thought process there right now, right? You got to sometimes change on the fly, unfortunately. I did not foresee Riot or Terawulf, getting that kind of a deal. Okay, Roger says, I'm going to trust more in Tom Lee and BMNR being the MSTR of ETH. Yeah, I would agree with you there. DFly, why sell IREN when this will get a deal? Because I was up tremendously on it, and I only sold 500 shares in it, right? So not that much. To buy another similar company, which is nowhere near IREN, Cypher, bro, come on, that don't make any sense. Well, you just never know. Cypher almost had a deal with OpenAI, right? Almost. For some reason, Sam Altman pulled the plug on that. But they were really close. So they would have gotten a deal before IREN did. Again, you just never know with these guys, right? I think a lot of people were thinking that IREN would probably get a deal before Terawulf did, but Terawulf landed the deal. So you just never know with these things. And then that way I have exposure to Cypher, and if IREN gets a deal, Cypher stock's probably going to go up because they're probably going to be the next ones to get something like that, right? So it's going to work out that way. All right. Benjamin says, Wolf was my wild card. I threw money when it was at $1. What Wolf is doing, I thought Cleanspark was going to do. Still a believer, okay? Okay, let's see. Gary's question, viewer since 2021, but decided to stop watching regularly today. Your decision to sell some IREN shares today and keep Mara shares, clinched it. Never selling big winners to keep big losers in any space. Okay, so you're not going to be watching? I'm sorry to see you go, Gary. Hopefully you come back in another time. But I also sold Cleanspark. I sold a small position. I mean, I'm in huge profits on it. Why would you not take some profits and put it into another one that might also get a deal? Why the tribalism, right? And I actually might sell Mara too. Mara, I have what, 120 shares or something like that? It's not much. It's like $1,400 or something like that. That's not going to make any change. That's going to change anything. And I may actually sell that one up because I'm up like 14% on that one. Might as well. Maybe I'll sell that one, buy more Cleanspark. I don't know. That's another way to go. Let's see. All right. DeFi says IREN sells makes no sense for Cypher. That's your opinion, obviously, right? I beg to differ. Again, you just never know which one of these guys is going to get a deal first. Timeless Car Guy says, of course I bought last night, hours before the crash started. My timing is impeccable. Give it time, you'll bounce back. D-Fly says, you sound like retail. I am retail. I'm not institutional. I'm retail. MJS, given Wolf and IREN stock price move today, it seems that Cleanspark is dead money for the rest of the cycle. Maybe, maybe not. Bitcoin goes up, they might follow suit or actually outperform. We'll see. Okay. All right. Jordan K says, miners are back in the menu. All right. Frost X Superior says, I'm up 154% at Hut 8, buying more shares if it passes 52-week high. Okay. All right. All right. DeFly says, can you check SBET and BMNR MNAV? Wondering which one is undervalued. Have they purchased anything recently? I haven't updated that in like 2 or 3 days, I think. I'll have to get an update on that to really show you what's going on there. I don't want to show you something that's old. Okay. John Kurt says, market shook off the PPI as it's the least concerning metric the Fed uses. Yeah. All right. DeFi, can we get, I guess, can we get a major dump in ETH, especially all these treasury companies stacking ETH, a major risk to the market if price dumps and they need to sell, which will cause a mass liquidation. That is a possibility there, and hopefully they don't sell, right? Okay. DeFi, based on your rebalance, top 3 miners you are holding by order. Right now, I would say it's going to be IREN. After that, I'm kind of mixed on Cleanspark and Cypher there, on those 2. Okay. Yes, MK says, I've been waiting to sell Wolf for a while, but after today's news, I don't know. I mean, we got the news from Core 42, right? When they got that one, stock pumped. Let's take a look at Wolf's performance here. How has it done since then? This was it's gotten back to that point. So here, take a look at this. I mean, you make up your own decision here. We got the news back in November of Core 42, right, deal? Stock pumped nicely, and then ever since then it's been coming down. Yes, it has rebounded from the April lows, and it finally took another deal to get it to pop. This is just my thinking here, right? Not financial advice or anything like that. But this will eventually possibly turn it to go down again until maybe we start getting closer to when they actually start generating revenue from that. But that's just my thinking on it, because you're going to need another customer there to pump that up higher, right? And people don't have patience. They'll be, they wrote it up here. They might write it up a little bit more, but eventually I think it might start falling down, because we saw that before here as well. That's just my thoughts. Could be wrong. Okay, what else we got here? John Kurt says, we need to read up on Tom Lee's genius behind BMNR. It's unprecedented. I've read up a little bit about it, but not enough. Okay. DeFi says, need BMNR needs to tank. Would love to buy for long. So you want to buy at a lower price there. Shinshi, question, hi Sebastian, where do you see Terawulf's and IREN stock price after their HPC deals? If possible, can you please make a video comparing the HPC stocks to see the best value on investment? Well, I mean, you could compare them based on megawatts available to them eventually, right? I mean, IREN already has 2 gigawatts available for them. Terawulf is working on it. Cypher has 500 to like 800 megawatts, I believe, but they have a pipeline of more going forward. I mean, that's tough, right? Locations are... Well, some of the locations are kind of close, in Texas at least. Cypher and IREN have locations there. But IREN also has locations in Canada as well. It's not easy comparison when you're comparing those, because then it's like, if they get the same kind of deals, you can kind of make a comparison on it. But yeah, I'll think about that. Let's see, Time-Lapse Car Guy says, CPI comes in hot, we're all screwed. Well, CPI came in pretty good. when was it, this week, was basically flat more or less. So if CPI comes in hot next month, that might not be great. Andrea says, congratulations to all Wolf holders. Absolutely. They definitely deserve it there. Okay. Shinshi, question. I got lucky because I bought 1,200 USD of Wolf yesterday. Very nice. Nicely done. You're up nicely there, 60%. Victor's got a question here. What are your thoughts for the rate cut next month? Will the market rally continue? Thanks. I still think, based on the sentiment that's out there on the, the poly market and the other one that's out there, can't remember the name of it right now, it's still showing that the majority thinks that we're going to get rate cuts. So I think that might still be the case here. But we'll have to wait and see what the CPI numbers come in for September. And if they're really high, maybe that lowers it down at that point. So that will be a big thing. Sadie, thank you so much for the likes. Let's see, Ron's got a question, maybe comment. Are miners that get HPC AI deals a hold going through the next bear market? Possibly. And I say that possibly because it depends on the deals that they get. Right? If they get a 50 megawatt deal, probably not. If they get a 1 gigawatt deal or a 500 megawatt deal or something like that, then maybe. But then you also need them to get another deal, right? That's the way they're going to be generating, increasing their revenues that way. Because otherwise, if you get one deal, that deal is going to be, you're going to be generating the $100 million, $200 million, or $300 million a year going forward, right? So they need to increase those revenues by getting more customers going for it. But how much is out there? I'm sure there's a lot, but is it enough to be for everybody? Maybe, maybe not. See, Lucian, question. Did you see Bit Digital's earnings? They were pretty good. I have not looked at those yet, no. My goal is to take a look at them tomorrow, and possibly we'll talk about them at that point as well. Zach says, question. Bitfarms says 30% more in gigawatt under management than Wolf. If Bitfarm ever get a similar deal, it will go up to $10 if it's a matter of time. The Pennsylvania sites, yes, they have 1 gigawatt there, I think, that they can have eventually available to them, but it's still going to be down a couple years from where they are right now. All right. I can't pronounce. I'm just going to call you Dan. I'm sorry. What do you think short and long-term price targets for Wolf based on today's news? Like I said, I think it might pump a little bit more before it starts falling down, unless they announce another deal or something like that. We saw them with the Core 42 deal, which was great last year as well. Stock pumped on that quite nicely for a little bit, and then it started to come back down. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think you're probably going to see it come down here. I don't know exactly when it's going to come down, but I'm guessing in a week, maybe 2 or something like that. If not faster, it might actually come down. Because then you're waiting on the next deal to come through to generate even more revenue for you, right? Because otherwise, like I said, the revenue's gonna be pretty much flat. Yes, they're still mining Bitcoin there, so that should help out with Bitcoin going up, but it hasn't really helped too much in the past since April, I guess you could say. All right, Benjamin, question. You think the miners that do both will drop as much as miner that just mine Bitcoin? I don't think they'll drop as much. I think but again, that depends on the type of deals that they have, how much revenue are they generating right now, right? If you look at IREN right now is generating almost, when you look at the run rate, the annual run rate for IREN right now is, let me see if I have it. Yeah, IREN's like 1 billion right now, run rate. Where's it at? Screen. There we go. I'm going to go here, right? IREN, 1 billion run rate. Terawulf is getting, 300 million from the HPCI deal at 85%. That's, what is that? 240 million roughly, right? If my math is right here. They're getting, I think, 70% on their revenues from Bitcoin. So, I mean, they're generating 700 some odd million in free cash flow based on that. Again, so it all depends, right? What kind of a deal do they get? Is it for 50 megawatts? Is it for 500 megawatts? Is it for 2 gigawatts? That's going to be a huge determining factor there. And depending where Bitcoin goes also, right? So if Bitcoin does go into a bear market where Bitcoin goes down 80%, I would expect miners, if IREN gets a deal for like 1 gigawatt or something like that, that could definitely help cushion the blow because that's just consistent revenue, right? Regardless. Other miners that are pure play miners will definitely get whacked hard going down 80-90% at that point, like we'd have last cycles. That's if we have a repeat of the prior cycles. Okay, let's go back here. Q&A. What else we got? All right, Victor C. BMNR target to achieve 5% Ethereum. If they reach that target this year, what price will they be at? It depends how much they dilute as well. I was running some numbers on it, and if you buy $2 billion of Ethereum and you also dilute $2 billion worth of your shares, I mean, you're kind of coming out even at that point almost. Maybe a better way to go. I know they're trying to do some other things as well. Maybe those things work out better, but I think ATMs and dilution that way kind of offsets it with gains there potentially. That's just my take on it right now. So I need to look more into it. All right, Edward. I think that's I think it's Edward. Hope Bitfarms be the next pumping up with AI deal. I hope so too. All right. How many total shares of Cypher now? I have 3,500 shares. Okay, let's see. Victor C. Question, will Trump do his best not crash the stock market, keep the rally? What's your take on this? They definitely want to have the market doing well, right? Especially when they get into midterms next year. They do not want to have egg on their face with the market, market or the economy going downwards, right? That would be not a great sign for them. You can basically, at that point, basically guarantee that the Republican Party is not going to be in control at that point, other than having President Trump still be at the White House. But other than that, they're all going to get voted out. Well, not all, but majority of those guys will get probably voted out because the economy's not doing well. So I'm sure that they're going to do their best. Dragos owns both BMNR, SBET. Do cover calls and enjoy the ride. Okay. Okay. Shin Shi. Why do so many people think IREN is the best investment for the value? What deal does IREN have? Right now, IREN does not have any deals. They are generating revenue from their own AI cloud that they have. They're generating, what is it now, $2-3 million a month roughly on that. And they're the best Bitcoin miner right now as it is, right? 1 billion run rate on Bitcoin mining alone. Am I using AI in that as well? Yeah, BTC and HPCI. So with HPCI, they're 1 billion run rate on that one. They do have 2 gigawatts, right, available at the Clearwater 1 and Clearwater 2 site combined. So there's potential there. Sarah says Bitfarms AI operation is literally dirt right now. No deal anytime soon for them. They got to build it out. Right, a lot of these guys still have dirt. Some guys are progressing towards site energization, or at least getting power to those sites. But yeah, it's all work in progress. Terawulf, same thing. They're still building out. Okay. All right. Shinshi, why do you like IREN stock? Okay, talked about that one already. Okay. Why was IREN moved up so much in the year to date? HPCI potential. I think there might be something going on in the background that we don't know about. Maybe some serious conversations happening. I think that's probably it. Sauer says balance sheet efficiency, 50 exahash, AI build out, lower compensation, lower float, so much stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of good things with IREN. Okay. Defi says, can you run the nav numbers on BMNR and send it where? Send it to the Patreon members? And SBET. Okay, you mean SBET, sorry. Victor C says, question 100 for BMNR should be easy, depending on the dilution again. How much do they dilute, right? And then also, what kind of premium should they get? MNAV. Right now, I think last time I checked, it was like 1.3. So, yeah, if you dilute the same amount of Ethereum that you're getting there, yeah, you can stake it. You're getting some yield on that point. But how much? I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sold on the whole treasure company things. Let's see. Lucian asks, question, did you see Cleanspark CEO make 14 million in total compensation? Quite greedy. It's more than that. For the year, he's getting like 28 million or something like that with stock-based compensation and everything else and all those things. All right. Cathol Gray has a question. Why did you buy Cypher instead of Hive? Cypher's US based. Hive is not. Hive does not have any operations in the United States. I think that might be holding the stock back. I think. Could be wrong in that. Okay. Craig says Matt keeps the corporate jet and Zach leaves with the Hummer. Okay. Sir Melon says IREN is the real deal there. And I think I've caught up to all you guys' questions here. This is actually pretty nice. We're going on almost an hour here. We went almost like 2 hours yesterday with all the questions and everything else. But yeah, we'll see where things go tomorrow. Bitcoin right now, is Bitcoin up at 119,000 right now? Let's see. Yeah, Bitcoin's pumping back up a little bit. We're at 119,000. Remember, we were there just a couple of days ago. So we're not doing too bad. You can see it here. Bitcoin's 119,000 right now. We're up 0.62%. Maybe we started finally getting that little bounce there. Remember, we were here just Sunday, actually. We had a nice bounce on Sunday. Monday we had a nice bounce, and then we came crashing back down because we had the CME futures gap happening there, so that had to get corrected. And what did I say on Monday show? I said like within 48 hours we should fill that. Well, it was 72 hours. So I was off by a day when they got filled, but it just kind of looked like they wanted to get that thing filled. And obviously the PPI data that came out kind of helped them out, lower everything down and liquidate a bunch of longs. So the bears are happy, shorts are happy, and now we can possibly liquidate some of the shorts going forward. It's a battle between the bears and the bulls all the time. You would think people would get on the same side of things and just go long. You're going to be much better off that way. But for some reason, people are stubborn and they think Bitcoin's not worth anything, and they're going to try and short it, which is just ridiculous, in my opinion, at least. All right, but that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Let's see if there's any other questions. Let's see. Drago says Ethereum back up to 4,649. Since she has a question there, let's go back to that. Let's see what we got as far as a question from Shinchi. Okay, question. Sarah Mellon and Sebastian, where do you see IREN stock going in the next 3 months? In the next 3 months, with a deal or not a deal? If they don't get a deal, it could be around this price range. If Bitcoin goes up in value, it'll go up on that as well. But I think if they get a deal much higher from where they are right now, I'm thinking still maybe by the end of the year, we could be at like $30, $40. And if we get a deal for HBCI, we could be at that, depending on the deal again, probably north of that as well. All right. Drago says the option premiums on BMNR and SBET are insane. Big money is anticipating both to go higher. Okay. Let's see here. Yes, paper hands always crumble. Yep. You got to have diamond hands. You got to be in this for the long haul on some of these guys at least. All right. So that's it. We'll call it a day. Let's see. Craig says, sorry, Melon up 149% on IREN there. That's awesome. Yeah, I was close to that when I sold today as well. Partially, I sold 500 shares when I was up that way. The only thing that sucks is I'm going to have to pay taxes on it at the end of the year or next year. So I got to prepare for that as well. But as Drago says, good luck to all, and we shall close it out. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully you guys have a great Friday. We'll cover anything else that happens tomorrow. I'll try and maybe take a look at BitDigital's numbers for them. It's going to be probably the last quarter of the report, Bitcoin mining, HPCI data center business, and Ethereum holding company as well on one quarter. Under one company, and next quarter is going to be interesting because they're going to have possibly done with Bitcoin mining, and then White Fiber is going to be by itself. So we'll see how that all gets reported next quarter. What else? That's it. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great Friday. Thanks so much for coming in as always. Love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Until then, bye.